Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different than what we're used to. Normally there's some footage of me bombing around in the Raven, having a lot of fun going upside down or off on an adventure somewhere. This time we're going on an adventure, but this video takes place before the adventure begins, so this is a little bit of flight planning. So instead of watching me turning and burning and watching the scenery go upside down, we're going to do a little bit of flight planning, and I've got a request for you guys who fly in the mountains to maybe reach out and give me some tips. So Rooster, my old Cessna 150, has a new owner, and this owner's out in Kelowna, BC. So I've had some adventures with Rooster in the past, but this particular adventure is going to be a very long cross country from Dryden all the way out to British Columbia. So if you're familiar with mountain flying and you have any tips or anything, feel free to throw some comments down below, or you can even reach out to me and share your flying tips with me while I take this nice little red 150 on an adventure all the way out to British Columbia. So here's Rooster, fresh out of annual. So we brought it into the hangar and did the annual inspection. Got it back into compliance again. Rooster got himself a new ELT. We pulled the elevator apart, did some new elevator bushings and bell cranks, and yeah, give it a basic once over. And this will be the first flight after the annual inspection. So once again, I've gone through the airplane a couple of times, but this is the final pre-flight inspection before the test flight. So I'm pretty thorough with this. Make sure that all the inspection covers are into place and everything's, you know, screwed down and buttoned up and ready to fly again. So Rooster's got a brand new front tire, among other things, a new battery in there, fresh oil change. So here we are getting ready for the first test flight.
Welcome aboard, folks.
One of the things I was testing on this flight was a new camera mount for the 360 camera. So I've got the 360 camera mount out there on the wing, and we'll see what kind of footage we get with that. So it's been a while since the Rooster's been airborne, and it's been in the hangar for storage for quite a while. So one of the things I wanted to do on this test flight before we actually decided to go flying was to do a full throttle run up and just make sure I don't have any surprises. So here we are. We're on the end of the runway, getting ready to take off, and let's put some power onto it and make sure we don't have any surprises. Because the last thing I want to happen is have this motor die on me right before it's time to take off. So last control check, make sure everything's free and correct. We're all green, green, green. Gauges are good. We're full of gas. Tach's good. Amps are good. Let's go fly. So once I get airborne here, rather than starting my climb right away, I just left it down nice and low, stayed in the ground effect, build up a little bit of speed, and once I had a good climb speed, then we start the ascent. So test flight out of the way, all the takeoffs and landings went as planned. I did a couple of circuits with it. Here we are coming in and touching down on runway 12. So we have a working airplane, so that's all good. Now we need to do the flight planning part. So we're getting ready to take Rooster all the way out to BC. Time to do some flight planning. So here we are at Fort Flight. Let's do a little flight planning. So CYHD, the Dryden Airport, that's where we're starting from. That's home base for me. And the destination, CYLW, is Kelowna, BC. And we're looking at about 1,028 nautical miles in a straight line and 8 hours 35 minutes. That's not bad if you're flying the Raven. However, that's the wrong airplane. On this particular mission, we're going to be flying the Rooster. So let's switch that around. There's a new basic profile for Rooster. And that's going to have a little effect on our time. So our lapse time went from a little over 8 hours to about 14. So ouch. Yeah, that's a little bit extra time. And I don't think Rooster's got the legs to do that nonstop. So we're going to have to break this up. So let's see if we can do day one. Kind of split it in half here. So we'll try Moose Jaw. That's about 489 nautical miles in a straight line, which isn't terrible. And it's only about 7-ish hours, so that gets me a little less than halfway. So that'd be an easy day's flying, I'm thinking. But again, we have to do something because it's asking for 41 gallons of gas. Rooster don't carry that much gas, so we're going to have to break that up. So Steinbach North, favorite spot for getting gas for me. Morden is a good spot. It's got gas, and there's even a courtesy car there. If I can get gas there, we'll stop in. And Carlisle, Saskatchewan. So that breaks it up into a few legs. We're up to 509 nautical miles and about 7 hours still. So it's only about 20 nautical miles longer and 7 minutes longer. So that's day one's plan. That should get us roughly to the halfway point. And then for the second part of the program, we're going to be heading west from Moose Jaw. So we'll head over to Swift Current. We'll get some gas in Swift Current. Next stop, Medicine Hat. And there's Medicine Hat. And then Lethbridge. Lethbridge, I'll be able to top up in Lethbridge. And from there, we're going into Cranbrook. So another hour and a bit hop. And then kind of a short one over to Nelson, and then we'll bring it on home the last bit into Kelowna for day two. So there's a few stops in there, which up until I get to about Lethbridge, it's flying over the prairies, not a big deal. 553, another 7 hours flying, so that's a good split, kind of a 50-50 split with using Moose Jaw. But once we get into here, this is where we get into the mountains. Now, mountain flying is kind of a new thing for me. I haven't got a lot of experience flying in the mountains, but I am always open to good advice, and Juan Brown is a great resource. So let's see what Juan Brown has to say about mountain flying.
The 836 Bonanza was destroyed when it collided with rugged, mountainous terrain south of Olympic Valley, California. The sole pilot on board sustained fatal injuries. If you take a GPS direct flight plan from Monterey to Truckee, it brings you right over the High Sierra here at the Palisades, former Squaw Valley VOR. And this accident occurred right up here in the High Sierra, with the aircraft ending up just short of a saddle here near Alpine Meadows Ski Resort. Takeaway lesson number one from this accident is when I'm flying a single engine airplane up here in the Sierra, I'd like to minimize my amount of time over the rugged terrain by creating a flight plan that looks something more like this. Go over here to Auburn and then kind of follow Interstate 80 up here. And if you do that, it adds about 9 minutes to your flight plan, but puts you over a more suitable landing zone the entire time over the mountains utilizing Interstate 80.
So while I was doing the flight planning for this particular trip, I was kind of envisioning a trip that would kind of look a little bit like this, and I was kind of putting in the different waypoints just to kind of watch, just to follow the road. So we'd be going through the Crow's Nest Pass and then kind of following the highway, because there's lots of areas where there's not a lot of people. And in the event that there was an emergency, I could have somewhere to go. Now, that was before watching the clip from Juan there. So after I saw that and kind of realized that, hey, maybe I'm on the right track here, that's probably what we're going to do. So we're going to follow the, basically it's Highway 3 there, I think, through the Crow's Nest Pass. And we'll kind of keep the airplane away from the big chunks of granite that comes sticking out of the ground there, because I don't want to hit any of that stuff. So thanks to Juan for the advice on that particular part of flying through the mountains. So after we get to Cranbrook, the next stop on this tour will be over at Nelson. So we're going to hit Nelson there. And again, if you look there, there's some pretty big looking mountains in there. Yeah, so Snowcrest Mountain and some of the other mountains are looking a little bit daunting for a guy flying at 150 for the first time through the mountains. So we're going to divert a little to the south here. We'll kind of go over the Creston area, and then we'll kind of run up this valley, and then follow the river into Nelson. And it seems like I'm going a heck of a long ways out of my way. Here, let's just clean this up a little bit. There we go. Seems like I'm going a heck of a long ways out of my way, but when you start to look at this, if you switch over to the VFR chart, we'll just click on the chart here, and we give you an idea of some of the terrain we're going over here. You see up there's 10,000, 10,400, 9,000, 8,000. There's some pretty big peaks in there. So following this path does a couple of things. It keeps me out of the tallest mountains, and it also gives me kind of a road to follow. In the event that something goes haywire, I got kind of a plan B. I got roads to land on. So, and then flying up the valley there kind of keeps me out of harm's way, getting me into Nelson. After Nelson, we're on the final leg here, and the same thing. We're going to kind of go down this Creston Valley here, just over Castlegar, and then on the home stretch into Kelowna. So Rooster's new home's in Kelowna. That'll be the last leg of this. And if we get rid of all these waypoints, we look at that, and it works out to be in about an hour and a half. So hour and a half isn't a big deal in a 150. So that's how I'm going to get through the mountains, or at least that's how I think I'm going to get through the mountains. So if crossing the country in a Cessna 150 sounds like fun, stay tuned to the channel, because I'm going to be running some cameras during this flight. And if anybody has any tips or hints or comments or any advice for flying through the mountains, please put something down in the comments there. I'd love to hear from you. I know some of you guys are far more familiar with mountain flying than I am. So yeah, this is my backyard. This is why I fly. It looks pretty flat. So mountains are going to be a bit of a new challenge for me. So looking forward. So stay tuned to the channel. More videos of 150 crossing the country coming soon. Thanks for watching.